What up? Welcome to the official DoD Podcast.
Presents the official Dads of Destiny podcast. The only place where dads can be 100% correct 100% of the time. Don't tell your mother.
What up? Welcome to episode 8 of the official Dads of Destiny podcast. I'm your host, TwoLoudtx. Here with me today, my co-host and Guardian Slayer himself, Nolxero. What's up, buddy?
Not much, just enjoying another week of Destiny.
Absolutely. And the man that you definitely don't want to follow through the Gorgons and the Vault of Glass, Mr. POPEBEAR. What's up, buddy?
Thank you very much, Too Loud. I want to take this moment to personally thank you for your kind words and leadership, and also for the information that you gave me about how long it takes to reinstall your game after you've deleted it.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, we'll have to tell everybody about that in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to hear that.
Yeah, you can tell it for sure.
Oh, no. I have plenty to tell Brian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Plenty
he
to
does.
tell.
And the man that took my advice not to delete his alternate character in order to try and farm his last raid piece and came out on top. Did you not, Hambone? Mr. Hambone, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? I did indeed, with the advice of Too Loud, keep my Hunter and my Warlock and my Titan. And this week, I rolled my boots finally for my Hunter, so he's a level 30. And got 2 raid pieces for the Warlock, so...
Welcome to the 30 party, buddy. Welcome to the 30 party.
Thank you. So I now have all 4 raid pieces like yourself, and I'm also a natural 30.
Well, I believe you and myself and Mr. Nolxero over there are all 30s. Who does that leave out? Who is missing? All right, and the first dads that I met through Dads of Destiny, my friend from across the pond, Mr. Dolphus. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome from Africa.
Africa. What part of Africa are you from? Let everybody know.
South Africa, the sunny part of Africa.
The sunny part.
Very nice sunny part.
Well, we are actually recording this podcast, just so everybody knows, right before the Extra Life kickoff. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to Nate Serber and Crows Nevermore for their donations they gave. Both these guys have been a huge part of Dads of Destiny and a huge part of what's going on for the Extra Life campaign. Just so you guys know, and not to bring any glory to them specifically, but I just want everybody to know that if you purchased a shirt from Nate Serber, he's actually giving all his proceeds that he's got to Extra Life. And if you don't know what shirts he actually designed, for those of you out there that haven't bought one yet, he actually designed our Dads of Destiny logo and provided that to Pope at the early stages of creating all of our own content and our website and everything else, and created a shirt with it. And so thank you so much, Nate, for doing that and for your donations to Extra Life. And Crows Nevermore as well. He has created some awesome shirts for us. He actually created one that I like to call the Guardian T-shirt, which is basically all 3 of the Guardians with the Dads of Destiny logo with the bottle in the background, and he is actually donating all the proceeds from his store, everything that sells in the day of the Extra Life campaign, the 24-hour stream. Everything that sells, he's actually donating all of that to Extra Life, along with a shirt that he donated as well to the winner of that. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't checked it out, find Nate Serber. That's N, the number 8, SURBER on the forums, and he has a bunch of links to his shirts that he's selling. And Crows Nevermore has it as well. He has a store where all his shirts and designs. He has a cool shirt, Hambone, that actually looks like a pocket and a ghost coming out of the pocket on the T-shirt.
Oh,
so
I like it.
It's killer, man. It's killer.
That sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, his in case you guys want to jump over to his store, it is designbyhumans.com/shop/crows nevermore. So definitely jump over there. But thank you both so much for your donations to Extra Life and everything you're doing. So hopefully all you guys got a chance to jump in, participate in some Extra Life this past weekend, the activities that took place, and maybe watch a little bit of the different people that were streaming on and off. Don't forget, we also have one more week of wearing your pink shader in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which was a thing that POPEBEAR put together amongst the community and really pushed. And Pope, it's been pretty awesome jumping into games and seeing people in pink, don't you think?
Absolutely. I run into the guys from Shadow Ravens, and a good squad of guys, and they don't know me, but we're playing against them in PvP, and we're running around in pink, so I love it.
Yeah, there's nothing like shooting somebody that's wearing pink, right? Although you forget you're wearing it too, so it's it's a lot of fun. Well, guys, let's gather our beverages of choice, and let's get started with episode 8.
Bottles up, Guardians.
Please drink responsibly. Silly kids, drinking is for adults only. Don't drink and ride your Sparrow. Drinking has been known to increase your aim. Individual crucible results may vary. If you have a buzz lasting longer than 4 hours, contact the speaker immediately. No lawyers were harmed in the making of this disclaimer.
All right, so Pope, last week you got a lot of props, buddy, on your choice of the black and tan. So it seems that you're hitting your stride there on the beer, and our European friends are definitely happy with your choices. So what do you have for us this week? Please don't disappoint.
Well, see, it's not really that hard to disappoint when I'm the only one that's actually drinking. All you guys are.
Hey, I was drinking a beer last week.
Oh, well, that's not beer.
And I got a drink this week.
None of that. You guys just be quiet and sit back and listen. All right, I'm going foreign, but tonight I'm definitely going over to the Pacific Rim, and I'm going to be drinking a Sapporo. So this is a good Japanese beer and one that I've enjoyed for many years, but it's a classic for me. So Sapporo is what I'm drinking tonight.
And where's that from?
Japan.
Okay, wow. Well, I can't say that I've ever had that beer.
Fancy.
Although I'm not as prestigious as you are in the drinking world, but Dolphus probably has everything that can beat you in the world over there to make him sound more manly, look more manly. But Dolphus, what are you drinking here? And for those that don't know, at 5 a.m. in South Africa.
I am drinking my 4th cup of coffee in the last half an hour. And it's not working. My brain is not functioning.
So did you start brewing that whenever I was texting you at 4 a.m.? Or
That is right. We're not that evolved in this country. We still use instant coffee, all right, because filter requires electricity, which we sort of lack, but it's okay.
So tell everybody what filtered what the filtered coffee like you have. How does that process take?
It literally means taking a single spoon of coffee, inserting it into a cup, and filling it with boiling water, which, as exciting as it might sound, all right, could have been better had I had the choice as the Americans do when it comes to coffee.
So
it's getting better.
What happens to the grains? The grains stay in there?
It's Turkish coffee. It's Turkish coffee.
It's basically it's basically Turkish coffee.
So it's a very coarse ground, right? It's a very thick ground, and you let it sit to the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you put creamer in it? Do you guys use creamer over there? Or?
Yeah. Listen, this is something we've all got to discuss, because who in any way, shape, or form thinks it's a good idea to drink coffee with 2% milk? Hambone, we're going to talk about your 1% milk. That's just wrong.
We'll get to it.
Yeah,
I just have full cream milk. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
So you know what half and half is, right?
Yes, I do. I wish I could have it here.
Right. So it's cream with whole milk. That's what I like.
Yeah, that's
like that
fantastic
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have half and half?
No, you don't get it here.
Wow. What about like dairy creamers, like flavored dairy creamers?
No. We've got fat cow milk and thin cow milk. That's it. All right.
Wow.
There is no in between. There is nothing.
Is there
Imagine
like a
how the
medium
cows
cow
feel.
Or?
No. Imagine how the cows feel sitting out in the yard. The heavy set cows over here in this pen.
Oh,
the
my
the thinner cows are over here. Oh man, that's got to be horrible for their
Pope
how
just
they feel
called the
about
cows
themselves.
heavy set. It's not heavy set. I just want to throw that out there.
Wow. Well, Nolxero, what are you drinking today? I know you had that almond milk again, or you got some other foo-foo-ness for me?
Now, actually, I had an email from a guy named Eric Strunk, and he said that WTF is going on with my favorite segment of the show, POPEBEAR Black and Tan Timeless. I happen to make mine with Guinness and Harp. He said me with almond milk, Hambone with strawberry lemonade, then your Summer Shady. I'm not even trying to pronounce that first name.
Lion Hugel.
Thank you. And then he said something about Bell's milk and Gatorade and coffee combo. He said that this is what his 8-year-old daughter drinks. Those are her favorite drinks, aside from the stuff that you and Pope were drinking, obviously.
Right.
So he was kind of saying, so the two things I wanted to say before I say what I'm drinking tonight is, one, I have been trying to lose weight, so that's why I've been drinking crazy stuff. Secondly, with alcohol, I don't drink a ton of alcohol because I actually have allergic reaction to most alcohols whenever I drink them. So it makes it kind of tough for me to drink anything. I have to kind of pick and choose whatever works, really. I can't just drink whatever. So tonight I'm drinking, what is it called? The Mangarita.
Margarita.
Yeah, it may be a chick drink, but I'll
Look
tell
at
you,
Pope.
I
Pope
don't
is shaking
have,
his head no.
I don't have any
got
allergic
something.
reaction to this, so
There
this
it
is
is.
about as good as I can do.
Well,
I don't want to see
Hambo,
you die on air, so that's
Hambo,
fine.
what about yourself?
Right,
What do you
exactly.
have? What do you have for us over there?
Well, I
What-
stepped
what-
it up
what
one
gangster?
notch, just one notch. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it kind of cool. I got a Jack and Ginger tonight, so just trying to keep
Jack
my
and
slow
Ginger.
groove going. You know what I mean?
Jack and
You guys don't know
Ginger.
about Jack and Ginger? Are you kidding?
What? That
Is it just ginger ale and Jack?
Yes. Are you kidding me? Look this up on the internet. Go to the bar and get
Pope,
yourself
what's the problem
a Jack
with it?
and Ginger.
I see you're in pain here. What is
I
it?
mean, all he's doing is going down the fountain drink machine with Jack at the bottom of the cup.
Well, listen,
what's
listen.
next, Brian? Are
orange
you going
soda.
to give us like
Orange
a
soda.
suicide with Jack? You know, where you use a little bit of
Here's
each
the thing.
drink.
Here's the thing.
Here's a
About
little
Diet
soda.
Coke and
Here's
Jack.
a little.
Okay, look.
This is
I have
ridiculous, Brian.
One big bottle of Jack, okay? So I'm drinking it as I drink it, slowly but surely. So every week, I got to keep drinking my Jack until it's gone. And then once it's gone, we'll see what Bevmo has on sale.
Oh man,
No,
it's too
I think you
funny,
can't
man.
go with that. Brian, you can't go with that.
Why
You
not?
You stipulated last week that you were drinking, what was it, strawberry lemonade?
Strawberry
and
lemonade.
it,
That's right.
and it was gangster.
Oh, that's
So
true.
you went
Thank you,
outside.
Elvis. Thank
got
you very
beaten
much.
up by the homies.
Oh,
all right,
man.
and now you're back to alcohol.
You know what? I just, the peer pressure was too much, and I felt that I had to be inebriated on some
Oh
level.
man, that's too funny.
So here we go.
Dolphus,
Let's get loose
Dolphus,
tonight.
I appreciate having you here because normally it's just me against them, and I
Oh.
already feel that you have got my back here. So thank you very much, Dolphus.
Well-
Another man with taste and integrity.
All I'm saying is, if you haven't tried a Jack and Ginger, you're missing out. That's all.
Well, okay, well,
I just
typically,
wanna tell
here in
everyone something.
Texas. Oh, go ahead, Dolphus.
So, okay, last week I was in Germany for business. Okay. I have never seen people drink beer like the Germans. All right. There is no such thing as a pint of beer. It's let's have an entire. I don't even know how to describe it.
Hey, isn't it Oktoberfest
bucket.
over there right now?
It is. It is. All right.
So when
It
I was living in Germany, I lived in Hamburg, and
Yes.
talk about just crazy Oktoberfest. They had like beer festivals like the size of football stadiums where you're just drinking for
What?
days, dude. It is
Yes.
absolutely insane.
And it's beer in every shape, color, form.
Everything.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
everybody's drinking beer. If you can reach the bar, you can drink beer.
I think it's the only country in the world where it's legal for your 3-year-old to drink beer.
Why not, right? I mean,
Yeah, why not?
there's this town in Bavaria, seriously, that they had to tear up the streets to put in new water lines or something like that. So they got this great idea that while they were dropping the water lines down underneath the streets,
Beer
they would
taps.
put in beer lines.
Oh, yeah.
The freaking town is
Wow.
lined with beer lines, and so every town has a
That's
brewery.
awesome.
So they don't have to like deliver bottles or kegs or anything. You have a tap, and it meters it just like our water meter, and you're like, "Brrr, there's your bottle of beer. I mean, you drink
I
beer
want
from the
one.
tap.
I've never heard her beer pour into a glass and go, but I get your
Right,
point.
that should tell you people.
Yeah. Well, Dolphus, how old do you have to be in South Africa to drink alcohol?
18.
Okay. Well, I think we are the
18?
only country in the world where you can go die for our country, but you can't have a beverage.
I was actually going to ask you this. How is it they let a 16-year-old behind the wheel of a 1-ton car, okay, but you're not allowed to hold a glass of alcohol until
Politics.
you're 21? What are you,
Politics.
weak? Or, is it power steering? Was invented by Americans, so you don't need to be sort of a certain weight to be able to lift a glass, or what?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the regulations are in all the states, but here in Texas now, when you turn 16 to drive a vehicle, you actually have to drive by yourself for the first, what is it, Nolxero, 6 months? Is it the
Yep.
first 6 months you can't have somebody in the vehicle with you? I
the
don't know if
same-
that's how it is in
same-
California. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same in California.
But I have always wondered this. I have friends that, have been to Afghanistan, but they come home and they get carded to get, a case of beer. And it's like, do you understand what he just went through and saw? And he fought so you could sit behind that counter and sell that beer, and yet he can't buy it. So that has always been confusing to me. However, back to what we're drinking, I had, being here in Texas, Pope, I had to put on my cowboy hat and jump on my horse and Saudi up. I got to saddle up and go over there to that convenience
Wait.
store.
Let me ask you a quick question
Yeah.
before you go on. Do you own a horse?
I don't own a horse, actually.
Do you regularly ride a horse?
Not anymore.
Okay, so my
Anymore.
family owns horses, and I ride regularly. I'm more Texan than you are by your definition, but go ahead.
Well, that's
Pope
what
is
everybody
trying
thinks,
to take
right?
care of everything. He wants to be more black than me. I'm worried about what's going on here.
You can be more Texan than me, bro. I really don't care about that. But it's funny because everybody always asks, do you, like you just did, do you have a horse? Do you,
Yeah.
you wear a cowboy
Yeah,
hat?
I know,
And
I know.
believe it or not, in my age where I have grown out of my parents' home, the city that I grew up in, I did ride horses all the time. I did wear a cowboy hat all the time. I did have
Okay.
Wranglers and boots on. But as I have moved away,
Covered with, what do you call it? Asphalt?
asphalt,
call it
yeah,
salt.
yeah, we have
So
asphalt here.
You do, eh? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
All right. I don't want you to hurt your horse's, feet and all that sort of
well,
stuff.
I grew up in a town just outside of Dallas that was very, very redneck at the time, and now it's one of the highest prestigious areas in the DFW area. But at the time when I grew up, all my friends had horses and ponds and boats, and we lived on a lake, and so I was very what you would call Texan or redneck. You know what I mean? But now, obviously, I've moved away, and I actually live
Evolved.
south of Dallas. Yeah, I've evolved a little bit. So,
Okay, fair enough.
but my drink tonight is not an alcoholic beverage. It is a Snapple Apple, which
come
I
on.
have. I will tell you this, and David and Nolxero can be my witness here. I drank this about 7-8 years ago for the first time. And I used to drive to Austin to see Nolxero just so I could buy more Snapple Apple because they didn't distribute it here in the DFW area. So I would freak out and buy cases of it at a time. And if you haven't had Snapple Apple, it is the best Snapple in the whole world. Tastes like you're eating apple. But on the alcoholic side, my drink of choice is always gin and tonic, and has always been. And if I had any gin or tonic water in the house right now, that's what I'd be drinking. But I'm not. So you can hate me for it, Pope, but that is my drink of choice is gin and tonic.
Snapple Apple.
Didn't your wife write a letter to Snapple to get you Snapple Apple?
Believe
in
it or
your
not,
area?
this is what she did. 2 Christmases ago, she found somebody that sold Snapple Apple. And the only 2 drinks that I absolutely love in my life are Surge and Snapple Apple. And Surge, I actually... that's a long story that I'll tell another time, but I had an order for it. If you guys didn't see it, actually came out about a month ago through Amazon. You could buy it. I bought it like within the first 10 minutes it got put up, and the stupid credit card company had a problem like, oh, this is fraudulent, and I didn't get my order. And I was absolutely furious because they ran out in like 15, 20 minutes. But Surge and Snapple Apple, my wife wrote a letter to a company that does distribution of all types of drinks, like from the up north somewhere, and said, hey, my husband wants this. Can I send it? So she sent them the money, and they were going to ship it to us. And on the, it got close to Christmas, and she finally told me, hey, I did this, but now they're telling me they can't ship it here because of it being a liquid and glass, and they're afraid it won't make it, to you good and everything else. So she was disappointed, but, then I started driving down to Austin and grabbing it on my way because I found a store that had it, and I was so excited. So that's my Snapple Apple story.
Man,
and
you go through a lot for Snapple Apple.
Dude,
It's really good, man.
It's
I want
really
to see this
good.
tattoo. I want to see this tattoo. Snapple apple across his chest.
Dolphus, do you
Snapple
have
for
Snapple?
life.
Do you have Snapple in South Africa?
Yeah, you can get it in certain stores, but it's very expensive and it's very rare.
Man, well,
We're limited on everything here. It's like the ships go around us, but they don't stop here because it's not safe. All right, because things could happen in Africa. So yeah.
Well, if you ever come to the States, Dolphus, I will buy you some Snapple Apple, and you will enjoy
I've been
it.
to the States quite a few times. That's my problem because there are so many things I want to bring back from the States that I can't.
Well,
We won't discuss that.
yeah. Well, Dolphus, tell us a little bit about what you've been playing, the class you've been playing, kind of what level you've achieved up to this point, and maybe something you're enjoying about the game a whole lot.
Oh, I started off with a Hunter. I got that to 29 quite quickly. Then I decided I was going to play a Titan. So I've been playing a Titan. I'm on 28, something like that for the Titan. But 30 is like a myth for me because the raid hates me.
Oh, man.
The raid hates me. It's like, when you play through and it gets to the checkpoint and it gives you the special, like halfway through the Templar section and it pops up and says you've won this.
Right.
I'm like an ascendant energy magnet. That's all I ever get. Right. I open a chest. It's like ascendant energy. Oh, jeez. All I want to do is shoot every single loot chest. I want to shoot everything, and I still don't get anything. All right? It just disappoints me. But I have to say, I did get, what was it called? Something revenge, pathologic, psychotic.
Praethion's Revenge, I believe.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. I got that. And it's
sniper
not
rifle.
very good. Yeah, it's not very good.
Well, once you level it up, it actually turns out really well because what will happen
guys
is
explode.
the guys will explode when you hit them, so it will cause basically area of effect damage when those guys explode. So it actually turns out it's one of my favorite snipers in the game, besides, of course, Hambone's favorite. But I absolutely do. I actually use it a lot. Pope, don't you use Praethion's Revenge as well a little bit?
The sniper rifle, absolutely. I especially when I want to use an exotic in my primary or heavy, I'll bring out Praethion. Obviously, my go-to sniper rifle is the icebreaker, but if it's a elemental void damage, I bring out Praethion, and it's a very nice solid gun, but it doesn't have a lot of impact. So I find that it's really effective for PvP, but when you take it into PvE, it really doesn't create the damage boost that you would get from icebreaker.
Yeah, you just gotta. If you do use it, you have to, definitely hit the target areas, that cause a lot of damage. So that way, when it explodes, it causes that area of effect. But anyhow, so is that the only raid weapon that you've received so far, Dolphus?
That's the only raid anything I've received.
Wow.
How many times have you done the raid?
6 or 7 times.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness.
That has to be the worst turn that I know of.
Wow, I really
you don't
feel sorry
understand.
for you.
One of the guys I play with, who's another South African, he's actually, he's basically my best friend. He goes into the raid with me, and he's like, "Oh no, shame! I just got that auto rifle. What is it?
Atheon's Epilogue.
Yeah, that's Atheon's Epilogue. All right." And he plays like everybody else. He gets Atheon's Epilogue. We go in 2 days ago, he gets, what do you call it, gauntlets. I'm like, really? Why does this raid hate me? Why do I keep getting nothing? Right? I go through the portal, I get, killed every 5 seconds, and I get nothing. Right? He stands outside, shoots a few little harpies, and, he gets everything. It's ridiculous.
We have a friend that absolutely is hating the randomness so much. Y'all have heard us mention his name before, Kyle the Anxious, what Pope refers to as Kyle the Assist. he has almost stopped playing the game, dude, because he ran through the raid with us about 3 times, and all of us got something, and he didn't get jack squat. And he's just like, man, it's deflating, and it is, and I understand that. Last night, in fact, we ran the raid with Free Diver throughout the Free Diver.
What's up, Savvy?
And G-Man, but Gary, but we ran it with them, and Matt, who is Free Diver, he got tons of crap. Okay, and they're both best friends, so we took them through the raid. Me, Hambone, and Pope took them through the raid, and man, it was so bad because I don't know these guys personally. Hambone and Pope do, but supposedly Gary, G-Master, he always, is the kind of guy that would gloat, kind of like myself, perhaps.
He is the biggest troll. He is the biggest troll.
And troll things. But last night, Matt, Freediver, he actually, since he got everything, all day today, I'm included on text where he is absolutely running him into the ground about getting stuff. So, he's in the same boat. G-Master's in the same boat as you, Dolphus, is in the fact that he just isn't getting anything. And I think there's a lot of people doing that. I know, like, I get upset when I run it every week and I don't get, like, a gun I want. I'm really looking forward to getting, like, a hand cannon, but I don't get one. But I can't really complain because on the other side of it, I am a 30.
Right,
Yeah,
but how
thanks
about
for
that
that.
Vex
Thank you.
Mytho class? I know a couple guys are still looking for those, and I've
Shut it,
gotten
man.
lucky, and I have 2 of those. As a matter of fact, I have
Yeah, I'm
2
really
Vex.
upset. I'm really upset
Absolutely.
I'm really upset at the guns I've gotten. I mean, it's just really limited what I can do in the game.
I even
Because
tried to delete my game yesterday to see if it'd give me a different
Oh,
role.
my goodness. Please,
Brian,
somebody
let me tell you, we were gonna do the raid, right? We get everybody together. There's 6 of us waiting in the party, right? And we're having some connection issues. So sometimes when that happens, a little pro tip, I guess, for people when they're having network connection issues between 2 players, you have to close the application and join back in because sometimes updates will happen to different
And this is for
machines
PS4.
at different times for PS4. So
I've got something to say about that, Pope.
if there's different versions of the game within the same party, you won't be able to connect to each other. So I said, everybody close down your application and join it back, put it back together, and we'll go back in the lobby. And
I hit
no
the
problem.
delete button instead of the close button. All right,
So,
that's the end of the story. Thank you so
TwoLoud
much.
then hits
This-
the
this
delete
is a true
button,
story.
right? And deletes his entire Destiny
The
game.
whole game.
The whole game. The
game.
entire game.
Gone.
And we're like dumbstruck. Here we are about ready to start the raid, waiting for like an hour for him to download the game again.
Actually,
So-
I was
Sorry.
surprised it didn't take that long. It only took, 15, 20 minutes, really. I mean, that's all it really took.
Yeah,
It was
half
actually
hour
pretty
tops.
surprising. I mean, it was really
wasn't long.
surprising.
it was about 30
um,
minutes, but it felt like an hour.
But that was a
Listen,
fail on
if-
my
if that-
part.
If that had happened to me, all right, it would have been 3 days worth of downloading because
Oh, my goodness.
how would I put it? Our limited internet here is shocking. So, and Pope, I have to agree with what you say about the mismatching in versions of game, but I honestly believe that Sony and Bungie need to do something about these kicks that's going on because all South Africans and all the guys I speak to get kicked constantly because it's so sensitive on the actual latency.
Believe it or not, you might have heard Nolxero talk a little bit about Gamble Big, our friend Greg from Xbox. I called him this week and talked to him a little bit and was asking a little bit about that. The 2 things that I wanted to ask him about was, number 1, are they getting kicked? And they are. So they're getting the same errors we're getting, believe it or not. So I don't think it's Sony's side. And then the other thing that I will say about PlayStation that they need to get with Bungie on is imagine being able to invite your friends by just hitting a button that says invite. And then it invites them. It doesn't pop up another message that you have to hit send invitation. Like I don't want to say anything else to you.
Besides that, come on. If you are in a party chat and you want to send an invite to someone else to come to the party chat, it sends a request to the party chat owner to send an invite to that person.
Dude, this
It is the
system is
dumbest thing in the world.
ridiculous. So anyways, Gamble
Like
told
I
me
can't
he said,
just talk.
well, Gamble Big told me, I asked him, he's like, oh, no, it works like it always does on Xbox. You hit invite, it sends the invite for you. It doesn't pop up and ask you, do you want to send them a message?
That's a
like,
Sony
I don't,
thing.
Yeah, I don't want to text him. But long story short, he said that they are still having the connection issues that we're having, but obviously their in-game options are a little bit better than ours.
Yeah.
but he did say, he's like, hey, I will tell you this. I've watched some people play on PlayStation. I've watched some people play on Xbox. And he, like I've said, he is an Xbox diehard fan. But he said, we all wish on this side, the group of guys we used to play with, he's like, we all wish that the Xbox One was a little bit more powerful, and had some of the things Sony has. And I said, well, we wish that we had the software you had. So, I think if we could marry the consoles, that'd be the perfect end all, but that's never obviously going to happen. But there's obviously issues on both sides here for the Xbox and for the PlayStation for connection issues. So, anyhow. Yeah. I mean,
I think I know we're going to talk a section, and we're going to do a section about the update, but in the what's up section of the update, it talks about the all the connection issues, Zebra and Caterpillar and Stingray, and the zoo that is the error codes, and how they have a customer support or a support for players that are having issues. The Destiny player support is still conducting their search and rescue operations to deliver every last one of you to the tower. And it specifically references people like Dolphus. Over the weekend, we encountered an issue where European players were unable to play Destiny. This European traffic, they just talk about how they're working really hard to address some of these error codes, and they'll keep fighting, and they'll keep winning these engagements and get us all online.
And that was just in case anybody didn't catch that. That was on Bungie's weekly update on Friday. So the 10/24/2014 update that came out that Deej posted, that was in there, right, Pope? That's where you found that?
Yep.
Okay.
So if they want to read more about what they're doing, it's in the update.
So long story short, it's been a fun week. But a long week, I think, for everybody, especially on this podcast. We've rated a lot, Dolphus, and we've tried to, obviously get our items as well. As Hambone said, he got 2, not 1 this week, but 2 Mytho class.
That's just wrong.
And a Monte Carlo.
See, I'm a little upset because I'm a little upset at this because I only got 1 Mytho class and 1 Monte Carlo, and I only got 1 set of raid armor minus the boots.
Long story short,
I just want to say one thing. Hambone wouldn't have Thorn if it wasn't for me.
That is entirely true.
That is my claim to fame in the Destiny world. I helped Hambone.
He did indeed. Oh my goodness. I was stuck on the Thorn bounty, and I don't know if all of you have done it, but it seems like a lot of people have Thorn now. But basically, there's a special version of the Summoning Pit Strike that you have to do on level 26, and it's pretty freaking hard. And I was stuck on it forever, and it's like 5 a.m. here in the States, and I'm like, who would be on at 5 a.m.? Oh, right, the South African guys would be on.
And that's me.
So that's
besides you and Nolxero, nobody else in America is on. So.
Right, and Nolxero was doing his job, so he wasn't home to join me. So. Right. Dolphus jumped on with, I think, Greg and a few other. I can't remember who it was, but
that was just Greg.
Man. Just Greg and Dolphus, and they really helped me through that. And now I have Thorn. So thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
no problem, mate. No
problem. I know that Nolxero, he actually, and just so everybody knows, how we got this is we didn't actually beat Atheon legitimately. The patch that was supposed to come out this week didn't come out, and so we were still pushing Atheon off. And I believe you can. When this comes out on Monday, I don't know, but as of this weekend, I think you can still push him off.
Yep, I did it. I did it about an hour ago.
Yeah, so you can still push him off, which I'm hoping me and Pope are trying to get our third character up to 27 so we can jump in there and do it one more time. But I know Nolxero, he did it 3 times and helped so many other people do it. And I'm sorry to say this, Nolxero, but you didn't get jack squat.
I didn't. Yeah. I got 3 time breakers, thank God, because I needed 3 freaking sparrows. Make sure all my classes had a nice time breaker to drive around.
Yeah, that thing is pimp.
Did you get the awesome award Chatter White for 3 times as well?
No, just what's it called? Just all I got was the.
It didn't even give you shards. Chatter White.
No, I just got a Sinnet shards and the time breaker 3 times. I was really happy about time breaker. I was like, you know what? People may have a Mytho class, people may have a Monte Carlo, but nobody has 3 time breakers.
Right?
You're right. I only have 2 of them. That's really upsetting.
Yeah,
Get on my
and
level,
I
buddy.
actually-
Get on my level.
I got my second mytho class with Zero while we were raiding, and I did not want to.
He
mention
literally
that
said, I said, he goes, what did you get? And I was like, what did I tell you I was going to get at the beginning of the raid? Because I told Brian, I said, watch, at the end of this, I'm going to get another time breaker.
Yes, he did.
And sure enough, I get it. And I go, so what'd you get? And he goes, oh, I don't even want to say. I said, you got another mytho class. He's like, I did. I was like,
let me tell
bleeper.
everybody the backstory. Nolxero literally stayed up, okay, he went to work, and he works nights. He came home on Monday. We started pushing him off. I called in sick on Monday, and we started running the raid, and we pushed him off. And as I went to bed that night, he's like, dude, I'm staying up till I get my third character to 27, and then I'm going to get my mytho class because I know I didn't get it with my two other guys. I'm going to get this time. And so him and Hambone stayed up till like 8 in the morning. So at this point, Nolxero had been up, obviously almost 48 hours. He pushed him off and didn't get jack squat. So hopefully
he did help me. He did help me push him off and secure my mine. So I want to appreciate that.
Yeah,
so
well,
basically, if you
absolutely.
have a need to get the mytho class, get Nolxero in your party, and he will get you the mytho class.
Because he won't roll
I
it.
will definitely get you a mytho class.
and I won't roll
I
it
would
either.
too.
So we'll help you push it off, and
Actually,
then you'll get it.
twice this week, 2 different games I was in when we pushed them off, 3 people got the mytho class. 3 of them.
Yep. Yeah, that happened.
I would generally like to play with Nolxero, but he's always got his thing set to disable matchmaking. Right? I think he's got a special tick box that says if Dolphus says join, delete, right, or avoid. It's got like an avoid section.
No, I don't think
Not
that's
at
the
all. I
case.
love playing with you, Dolphus.
So-
One final note about this raid is that when Zero was doing the raid with me, he was the actual guy to push Atheon off the ledge. So
Yeah.
I was actually dead at the time that the mytho class came through. And
Oh, that's
Zero
even worse.
was
That's
the
even
one to
I
get
did
him
it
off
as
the
well,
ledge.
dude. I pushed
Yeah.
him
You
off with
weren't
my
even
warlock.
contributing.
No,
Yeah.
no, because there's a way that you can do it where basically so that people don't get teleported. The other 3 that aren't helping to push Atheon off just go ahead and suicide at the beginning of the run.
Right.
So 3 of us were dead while Zero and 2 other guys attempted to push him off. And while I was dead, up popped the mytho class, number 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I learned is that you obviously could push Atheon off before you get pulled into the portal, which is what everybody's doing this week now. You're pushing them off before the portal team even has to go through. But long story short, what happened was I actually pushed him off as well, and I didn't get it. But I won't say his real screen name, but Pork Chop, and he knows who I'm talking to. Pork Chop actually got the first time we ran. Me and Nolxero ran a group of guys that had never done the raid before through the raid, and when we ran them through, they had a great time. It was an awesome experience. I can say that is really where the fun in this game is, which I did it a couple times this week. But the guy that was with us, Mr. Pork Chop, he actually got the Monte Carlo when we beat it on normal, and then we pushed Atheon off. He actually helped push him off, believe it or not. His first time ever doing it, he pushed him off, and he got, of course, the mytho class. So here me and David are sitting with our 30s, and the guy that's at 29 or 27 gets a mytho class. He'd never done this before, ever. And,
RNG.
he gets a Monte Carlo and a mytho class back to back.
Good for him, man.
Okay.
Good for him.
I want all of you to be ready because I want to run the raid at some point today. So you are not going to sleep, any one of you, right? And I am going to help stand back like Hambone and die. And then I will hopefully get something.
I can definitely
I still have
push
the
it
Atheon. I still have the Atheon save on my hunter.
off. Okay, well then we can definitely push him off for you. That's not a problem at all.
We can do the raid on normal in about 45 minutes, Dolphus.
Pope, whenever you're online, I'm stalking you. I'm coming with you.
Well, as always, this week I listen to Guardian Radio Network, and I just want to start by saying this. I found myself screaming at my radio as I'm driving to work this week. I know Nolxero listens to podcasts as he works and does his security deal, and he was screaming as well. And we call each other, and we're screaming about the same thing. It was so funny. But because of a discussion that Craig and Bife got into, actually, and I love Bife. He's a great guy. He does a lot for the community. He's super knowledgeable about Destiny. However, Bife mentions that he feels the game is just starting for him after 8 hours or 8 days played. And he says that he's just now discovering new stuff, and that he's just now feeling like he's getting the hang of it, and he's got to grab all these exotics, and he's not a 30 yet, and all this stuff. And I want to ask Pope here. Pope, you've played 8 days, and Hambone, you've played 11 days.
Yeah,
so,
I'm on my two characters right now. If you add them up, I've played 10, and Brian's 11 days.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm now at a point where I can slow down a little bit, and I've got the game under control. I do my farming, I do my daily, my weekly, and my nightly on then the nightfall on my three characters, and that takes me the week and under the time I have to work, and I don't feel like I'm leaving anything complete or not completed by the time I go to bed. So I don't know.
Are you discovering new things though? I mean, is the game becoming new to you still?
I think I'm fine tuning my approach to PvP, and not much new in the PvE part of it.
I'll agree with you on that. I mean, I think the PvE, he that's mainly what Bife plays. So I can give him that the 8 days he probably has played, and majority of that is going to be in PvP. He's really gained a great understanding of PvP now and everything else. But I think he was a little alluding to he's going to start getting into the PvE, and that's when it's going to, it's starting to become more to him. I can understand it, but I guess my pinpoint to this is that I don't feel like, and I've put in about 6 or 7 hours into the game. And I feel like the repetitiveness is just insane.
Right? You said hours, but you meant days.
Days,
right?
Yeah, days. And so I feel like, that the repetitiveness is just, crazy. What about you, Hambone?
No, I mean, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, because I feel like when you play all 3 classes, you get a fresh look at the game. And there's certain things that I missed my first time through the PvE story. And I know a lot of the cutscenes are annoying, but there are some things that initially I might have said didn't make sense that made a little bit more sense the second time through.
I agree.
Or even just learning the intricate aspects of these different classes and their subclasses. So to some degree, I can see where he's going. But like I said, at 11 days, there are nights now where I'm like, do I have to get on? I've already done what I needed to do. I've raided 3 times.
Right.
So, yeah, I think I'm somewhere right in the middle on that one, 50-50.
What about you, Dolphus? I mean, you said that you started with a hunter, right, and now you play a Titan the majority of the time. Are you discovering new stuff? Are you still, excited to get on when you get home? Or
Yeah, look, I really enjoy the game. I have a lot of fun playing either character. I don't think I'm going to play a Warlock. A friend that I play with, his name's Jack Raven. He put it in a nutshell for me. He said the Warlock is like a glass hammer. All right, something must breathe near a Warlock and they die, but their void is just devastating.
Right.
But I just can't see myself playing a Warlock. But the Titan is it's a fun class to play where the Hunter is a lot more strategic. But I agree with Pope in the sense that there's and you, to be honest with you, TwoLoud, the first sort of PvE side of it is getting a little bit repetitive. But, when you do your bounties and you do your dailies and your weeklies, that's fine. Look, I'm not very good at PvE, and I sometimes dread going into, like, PvE when I've got, like, an exotic bounty or something like that to do.
You mean
because
PvP?
I just get... Sorry, PvP, because I get handled. I really do. I get handled.
Yeah, because I knew you were talking about PvP because I've played with you. So it kind of fit into what you were saying.
Oh man!
Wow. No, it's just that I'm like cannon fodder for everybody. If you want to go for 50 kills, you just look at me and you'll get me. All right, that's fine.
It's actually a really good game. You try to you spend time around Dolphus, and you try to protect him so he doesn't die. It's a lot, right?
You have created a mini game in Destiny.
Right, there's a mini game.
Yes,
there's a meta within the game.
So, well, I will have to agree with you, Hambone. I will say that, and perhaps y'all have changed my thinking. In the update that they gave us this week, they talk a lot about the Iron Banner. That's the main focus, right? And I think that's where this is going to shine, Pope, where you have the different guns and you use the different armor pieces. And, like I have.
I'm really excited about the update. That really got me going.
I know you're just like this on your Titan, Pope, and I'm like this, and I think all of us have different pieces of gear that change how we play according to what we're playing. For instance, I changed the helmet that I use all the time from my raid helmet to an actual helmet that gives me, different abilities, exotic helmet. Or I'll change my chest piece that we all bought a few weeks ago for the Titan that gives you 2 nades, right? So we're changing those. So hopefully the effect of those will be a lot more after this update. But Hambone, tell us a little bit about this update, a little bit about what they come and they tell us. I know that they touched on matters about powers and upgrading guns that you get from there and quitting and all that other kind of stuff. So tell me a little bit about the update.
One of my favorite things about the update is that you won't be able to just walk into Iron Banner under level 20. So if we're in a fire team and the guy who's leading the fire team has to be a 20 in order to invite anybody who's not a 20 into the game. And then once they get into the game, it actually says in text that it will be a very difficult time for them. So that was one of the most frustrating things to me, was to have grinded the amount of days and hours I've put into this game and see a level 14 with a green Shenzhen C kill me quicker than, my Suros regime that's at a full 300. So that's one of the big things. And another one was called reforging, where if you got one of the 2 guns from Iron Banner, I can't remember what the second one was, but the first one is definitely Timur's Lash, the legendary hand cannon. If you got that, each time you got it, everybody got a different set of skills in their skill tree. So you might have got a quick reload or a steady extra stability increase or something like that. Now when Iron Banner comes back, you will be able to re-roll the actual attributes inside of your gun that you got. So if you don't like the things or the skills inside of the tree, for a motive light or 2, you can now re-roll, but you would have to start your progression over, re-roll, and be able to get a better chance of having something that suits you better. So I think they're really headed in the right direction with this new update.
Well, Nolxero, I know you read through this thing up and down like you always do on the updates. And so tell me a little bit about what they're doing to people that are quitting and, the coin, I guess you're getting, or whatever it is that you were telling me about. I haven't read through it all the way, but tell me a little bit about it.
Well, basically, if you quit, you get nothing, which I'm hoping this coin sounds like a good idea. Basically, if you play a game and you're going to lose, you receive I think they called it a medallion, actually. Mm-hmm. But you get a medallion from Saladin. And what it does is the next game you win, effectively, you basically trade in all these coins towards your reputation with the Iron Banner. Okay. And they said it's equivalent to basically almost as if you had won a game. So every time you lose and you get a medallion, whenever you trade those in, effectively you're gonna basically get a win of reputation. So I'm hoping that keeps people from quitting. It sounds like it should, because if you quit, you absolutely get nothing, and it'll be like you're playing Iron Banner 1.0. Whereas now, in Iron Banner we'll call 2.0, you will actually receive reputation whenever you do win your next game.
Right. Well, as this is 2.0, one thing that they did mention that we talked about was the reset. And so tell us a little bit about the reset that obviously is not happening this time, but that they're going to start doing moving forward.
Yeah, they said that the original thing for the events like Queen's Bounty and Iron Banner, that they were looking to reset every time those events came into town. They were looking to reset the reputation you've already gained. So I don't know how I feel about that. They did talk about it as that they're not going to do it this time and that they're still working it out, but effectively the ranks are going to go up to rank 5 for these things, and that they're actually going to allow you, and I think you'll remember this, but anybody that's played WoW will remember, if you logged out and you were actually in a major town, you would receive what's called a rested bonus. And whenever you were resting, you logged back in, you would gain extra XP. Well, some of the complaints for people who were of, a high enough level to enjoy the Iron Banner were saying, they have full-time jobs like us, some of them can't play as much as we play. And they were like, it's making it very, very hard to get this reputation and get to a rank.
Well, I know
that
you
would
got to
Go
rank
ahead.
3, and
I did.
I tried to get to it, and man, I just couldn't. I mean, as much as I play, and I play the least, I think, out of all of us, which is still a crap ton.
I'm telling you, I got it, and it was a beating. I mean, I was literally playing. People were like, "Oh, we got to do this and dailies," and I was like, "Sorry, guys, I'm Iron Banner. I'm getting level 3
Pope,
before this goes
you
away."
play the most probably PvP besides maybe even with Nolxero or more than Nolxero.
Yeah.
Did you get to rank 3?
No, I got just between 2 and 3, and I think I stopped bothering with it. And I think I really could have. I honestly went just back to Rumble Pit to be honest with you. I played PvP when nobody else was on, and I played Rumble Pit mainly. But the reason why I transferred over from Iron Banner, I was no longer interested in it, is when it took me about when I got to rank 2.5, and then somebody had reached 3 on my friends list and told me that the legendary chest piece that you could buy from the Iron Banner when dismantled was the same as the Queen's bounty stuff, where it just gave you plasteel plating. So the only reason why I was ranking up to 3 was because I wanted Ascended Shards.
Right.
And when I found out that it didn't really do anything, I stopped playing.
Well, I didn't know that, and that is disappointing. But Dolphus, tell me how you feel.
Quick note, real quick. Sorry, the Iron Banner gear will afford you to level 30, so you can actually get Iron Banner gear and get to level 30 with Iron Banner gear.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
That's actually the incentive that many of us are talking about. Right. You don't break the system with the shards. I get that. But give us these special event bonuses, right? Where if you're a PvE player, I'm a PvP player, I have to go beat the raid to get 30.
Right.
Where's the equity? Where's the equity in that, right?
Right. No,
So-
I agree. I
definitely.
think this is huge, man, and I didn't know.
No,
that
I'm
came
really
out.
excited.
That-
I'm really excited
That
about
is
it.
all. So, Dolphus, you better shine up your skills. If you're not getting the gear in the
Hell
raid,
no.
you better.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to play with Pope. I'm going to get killed a lot. He's going to drag me through as a winning team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'll get something because of the loot system.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
There you go.
No, absolutely. It's actually been a running joke on my Twitter channel now where I just post pictures of me sitting there with like a 24 and 10, and everybody on my team like negative, and the guy on the very bottom is like 2 and 13, and there's an exotic or a legendary weapon there in that slot. Those are some really great photos, actually.
Well, Dolphus, my other question to you is, as Nolxero mentioned, they're going to reset this every time, probably after this time. And do you feel, Dolphus, that this is kind of prolonging, content, trying to artificially create, another goal or some more content for them?
I think it might work for the first 2 rounds, but then people are going to just get bored with the whole concept. They're going to say, well, what's the point? They're going to come up with another strategy to play. At least with the raid, you're having fun with friends and you get to plod your way through it. PvP, you've got the fun, but you're all doing it for a reason, just like you do the raid for a reason.
Right.
All right. And I think I agree with Pope. If you're going to keep getting reset, as long as there's a goal to achieve something, like now I've just figured out, like you guys have just mentioned, that you can go to level 30 with that gear. There's a reason to do it. But if it had stayed the way it was originally, I think guys would do exactly what Pope did, just drop out and just say, that's not
I
my
hope
point.
that the gear they give every time is different then, right?
No, definitely.
That's my
Yeah,
hope,
definitely.
because if I get my Titan up this time, then I want to be able to get different gear next time, whether it be for my Titan or whether it be from other character. I mean, in Pope's instance, he has 3 Titans. That's all he cares about is playing Titan. And
Titan for life.
if he gets the gear for a Titan one time in the banner, why would he want to play it again? So hopefully they give him different Titan armor every time.
If they want me coming back to PvP, Iron Banner, I honestly, personally, as a PvP mainly player, I don't need stuff. Right? I mean, that's nice. That's nice to have stuff, trust me. But that's not what's making me come back. It's a ranked system. I want something, whether it's a 50 in Halo 3 or something that shows that I am a top level player. And so you can keep all your crap. I want to go in there. What keeps me coming back to the game is grinding, finding that equipment, finding that weapon, ranking it up, jumping into Iron Banner, seeing where it matches up with other players, and then having some sort of designation. If I am a top tier player, I have something that goes on my player card that shows me and everybody else that I am a Iron Banner legit 50.
Yeah,
right?
and it's got to show you a difference between somebody that plays PvP and loves it and is a moderate player and somebody that's a great player, right? I mean, that's got to show. I mean, I know the guys down the street from you, Pope, that are building these trophies that you keep building for yourself, hanging behind you there. I'm sure they're getting sick of like, what is Iron Banner? Number one guy in the world in Iron Banner. I mean, you gotta stop getting those made. But but no, I mean, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of awards, right, Pope, that they give you in PvE, and it shows, hey, I did good in PvE, I played this, right, which is what I always talk about, like our raid gear or our guns. But there needs to be something that says, dude, I play PvP and I kick some butt in PvP. Or I play PvP and I'm okay, but I'm better than you because I'm not at the bottom, right? So there definitely needs to be that the difference maker. But anyhow, let's go ahead and jump over to Don't Talk Back.
I wanted to be your dad. What does that even mean? Don't you talk back to me, young man.
So for today's Don't Talk Back, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're actually going to let Pope rant a little bit. And the question today is, do the changes coming to Atheon's fight, which is the last fight in the raid, for those that don't know, this is the final boss, the changes that are coming out that basically make it where you can't dictate which 3 members are getting pulled into the portal, right, so that you can organize and plan. Are those changes, is it there just to prolong the content in an artificial way, similar to resetting the Iron Banner deal? Is this something that is definitely hindering, perhaps even, Pope, instead of making the raid better, a better experience?
Well, when I first read the update, I was dumbfounded because a lot of what I've been doing, I've beaten the raid, I don't know, 15 plus times now, and at least 5 of those on hard. And I know that's not a lot compared to some of the people that I play with, but for the majority of people out there in Destiny, that's a lot. So on my friends list, people will send me an invite and say, Pope, we're stuck at Atheon and we need help, and could you jump in and organize us, right? And I've probably beaten just that, and I'm not even counting that in that connection of list of things. I've probably beaten the raid, I don't know, easily 8 times just helping inexperienced teams through. Now, here's what I've learned from that experience. These guys, they've worked, this is the first time that they've done the raid. They've worked their butt off through the limited time that they've had to play, and they're now just reaching raid ready. And they're just getting into there for the first time, and they're not heavy like players. They don't have a lot of experience. They're in there for the fun of it. For those guys, the normal raid is extremely difficult.
Right.
And by Bungie turning around and randomizing the spawns into, and I know a lot of people that haven't done the raid yet aren't going to know the references that I'm making. So I'm going to make an analogy here. They're randomizing, you have 6 players and 3 of them get teleported that have to do a very specific job. That specific job, they're saying, previously you used to be able to take half your team and put them against the back wall. The furthest 3 guys away from the boss would get teleported. So you could plan and you could say, all right, these 3 guys have these specific setups because they know what they need to do when they get in there. These 3 guys up front have specific setups because they know what they have to do up there.
And even for first-time people, Pope, it took them a while to learn those roles, right?
Oh, yeah, that's difficult. That is extremely difficult, even when you know what you're looking at. Even if when you go in and you check YouTube things and you finish, you build up your class, and You get to the point where you're ready and you make a game plan and you go after it. Great. That's awesome. That's fun. For the average normal player, that is a lot of fun and very challenging. So what do you do? What do you do when you make that selection random? And this is the easiest thing that I could come up with that I thought most people would understand. It's like taking a football team and having everybody come into the huddle and grabbing a slip out of a hat that says their assignment for that next play. And so you got a guy that's a lineman or a running back or a quarterback or a receiver possibly playing a different role that very next play, where they have no time to prepare, no time to switch gear, no time to challenge, no time to train. So what you're doing for the average player is you're making the raid nearly impossible and not any fun. Because what happens is these guys are playing the raid, they get frustrated, and then they ask for somebody to come in and help them before they throw the freaking console out the window.
Right. I mean, there's already areas that we've all encountered, especially when we did it the first time, right, that were aggravating. And you're like, look, I know this is supposed to be hard. I don't mind it being hard. I either want a little explanation or be able to plan for it appropriately. But now that they're going to be, randomizing these guys, it's like, man, they can't get good at one role, right? And you
right,
can't
and it doesn't make any sense because the purpose of the raid was for and this is what it was talked about before the game is that it would be this culminating experience of a fire team of 6 buddies that were playing together, and they would get their Titan ready, or they would get their Warlock ready, they would get into the game, and they would know their role, and they would work as a team. What you do by randomizing that selection is you destroy that chemistry, you destroy the teamwork, and you make it so that friends turn against friends. Honestly, I've seen it happen. They get angry because they wipe or they don't do their job right, or there's frustration that happens. And so the
meta goes out the door.
My simple selection, my simple solution, and it's actually, I think it was Brian that brought this up, Hambone that brought this up, and it's absolutely genius. You take the normal and you leave it alone. Make the average player work hard, strive to get their class right, and do it. If you want to do it on hard, randomize it. Fine. Make the hard random. Good. That will make every player in the raid team know their classes, know their setups, be able to adjust, and that would be challenging.
Well, yeah, all they're doing by
making the normal random is they're making it so that the average player, which is probably about 75, 80, 90% of their player base, they're making it unenjoyable.
Right. I mean, because by the time you run the raid and you have, you get all your pieces, even if you do it like I did, where I ran it 2 or 3 times or 4 times, by the time I had all my raid pieces, I at least knew what was going on because I've played it that many times. I knew, hey, this is what the pro team does, and this is what the other role does. But if that first time we went through that and we couldn't, plan or learn a role so that next time we went in, we learned the other role, that would be so frustrating. But by the time you're a 29 or 30 where you can handle the hard raid, you learn those roles, So I understand, just like you said, I think it's a great idea. I understand randomizing it at that point. But on the normal, I think they should leave it alone. But, maybe if you work for Bungie and you actually listen to our podcast, which...
Please do something about this.
Thank you so much. Please pitch this idea to somebody that leave the normal alone.
The idea of this makes me believe that the people who are designing this change are not listening to the average player, because I'm playing with them. I'm not that average player. I play way too much, I admit it, and I know too much about the game at this point that's healthy. All I need to say is that the average player out there will get so frustrated with this that they're going to
there's a lot of people
delete their app, right? Too Loud?
Yeah, I mean, I got in contact with somebody this week that actually, my long story, my wife basically is part of an online group like we are, but it's for moms. And so they talk about their kids and babies and whatever women talk about, right? While we are over here talking about games and beer and everything else. But one of the dads on there knew that I played Destiny and said, hey, man, I'm a 23, 24. Would you help me get through the raid? And I'm like, yeah, man, absolutely. He's like, what do I need to get to? I was like, man, what I would say is be 25, right? So you go in, you have to be 25, go in, level up one of your guns, pick one of your guns, and then I'll help you through the raid. But dude, there's a lot of people and there's probably a lot of people that listen to our podcast that still haven't done the raid for the first time.
Absolutely.
Right. And they're getting pulled into this experience. And I mean, look, difficulty is great. Right. And I understand, the awards you get show where you've been, and it shows you've been through but there becomes a point when it's so difficult that it's completely unenjoyable. Right. And, if
you can't understand what's going on too loud, if you've made a mistake that has caused a wipe, I get that. Right? If you've done something not good enough, then a player can have something to work on. But if there's something that makes no sense, that's randomized for the sake of difficulty, that doesn't make any sense.
Especially because I have no time to describe it to these guys when we're in the raid.
Right. Well, wait. You just got teleported? Okay. So no, here's what you got to do.
And you just have to basically keep wiping. You have to keep wiping to show.
And by the time you explain it to them, it's a wipe. So now it's going to be 3 new people going into the portal.
Right.
It's just, in our instance, we all have jobs.
I just don't understand. I mean, I understand that they need to make updates, and I understand they need to make tweaks, and I understand they need to buff, but I really want to know their vetting system, Bungie's vetting system for these buffs and changes to the player. I just don't. I really want to know what they're doing, who they're asking, and who they're talking to make these changes. Because I can't see anybody on my friends list that would say, you know what, randomizing, that's a great thing.
Nolxero, Dolphus, how do y'all feel about it?
I think Pope's right in the sense that who are they talking to? Because are they talking to the buffs, the more consoles, these kind of guys who are exceptionally above the average gamer? And saying, yeah, that would be a good idea, that would be a bad idea. But for me, when I go into that raid, I don't want to even be near the relic. The relic is like, whoa, I have to think. I'm like more like smash, shoot, ugh, breathe. Right. All right? I can't do the relic.
Well, I know
if they teleport me, I'm finished. I'm going to run away.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, Pope and Nolxero are way better with the relic than I am, and they've used it a lot more than I have. And so, I've gotten teleported at times, and that's how I learned, right? Because the game jacks up sometimes and accidentally teleports somebody. And so that's how I started learning at the very beginning. But it took a long time. It took a very long period for me to grasp it. So I understand. I mean, Nolxero, I mean, like I said, you used a relic, but how do you feel about like random people going in there with you while you grab the relic?
Well, I'll tell you to start that the decision to do this was in line with the original vision of the raid. That's why they're doing it. This was the original vision of the raid. This is originally how it was supposed to work. I'm not saying it's right, but that's why they're doing this. The thing is, I have a problem with is, one, there's a lot of people that don't know how to use the relic, and it's extremely frustrating because there's times when I've been in the raid where it's like someone needs me to take a different position, but they can't do the relic. And it's just like, okay, well, I don't know what to do because I can't take this other position and take the relic. Like, we have to figure something out here. The other thing is you were talking about like people that haven't done it yet and bringing in someone, say 25, 26 right at the entry point. Well, that becomes a huge problem because if they take the relic, then, the Minotaur that's in Venus or the hobgoblins on Mars are going to snipe them one shot. I mean, they're going to be done. They can't take the sniper.
Well,
they can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, me and you took in 4 other guys that have never done it before. And what if they get pulled and we don't? I mean, you know how long it's going to take to explain to them? I mean, you're going to have to wipe 10 times for me to sit there and talk them through it. And the whole time they're thinking, I just want to play. Right. Why are you taking 10 minutes to tell me this?
Besides that, it doesn't even matter how long it takes to tell them. If in that situation, we took 4 dads, hadn't done the raid, to get them through the raid, give them the experience. They were lower levels, and my point exactly to what I was just saying is, what are they supposed to do? They can't. If say you take 3 guys in just to help them get through the raid, to give them that experience, right? Those 3 25s get teleported into the thing. That's a wipe every time. That's a wipe every single time. You're not gonna be able to do the raid.
Oh yeah, you'd be stuck there forever.
Well, Yeah, I guess I come to the point where I'm looking at the raid as an event, a culmination, and the new content or the new pinnacle for those players, the average player, is reaching that pinnacle right now.
Right.
And the only thing I can think of is that they're seeing the numbers of the average player reach the pinnacle too soon.
Right.
And so the DLC comes out in December, and Zero, and then maybe they're delaying it by creating it, making it that difficult. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think you increase difficulty because you don't have enough content.
Right. I don't.
Well, I don't
we're
think
doing
they're
what,
doing that.
we're
I don't
doing
think
what they
that's the
wanted
problem.
us to do.
I
You know what
wouldn't.
I mean?
I would hate to think. I mean, honestly, I would never have ever uttered those words, ever, when in a Bungie game. I honestly wouldn't. And I'm not going to start bashing on Bungie at all. I've been a member of this community for a long time, and I really, really enjoy their games.
Look, even going into raids in WoW, you knew what role you had. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Right.
Every raid that you've ever done on any game, everybody knows what the role is. Everybody knows what the meta is. So, anyways, I mean...
it should be about planning and teamwork and communication. That's what it should be about.
Right.
And
I'm
the word
100%
randomization,
fine.
the word randomization should not be in that conversation.
Right, because you can't have those things with randomization. I'm
Right,
perfectly
and-
fine
yeah.
with them making the raid harder. Even the Vault of Glass, even though it's already
Do
out
it.
and when people have done it, make it harder. Do whatever
Make
you
it
gotta
harder.
do.
Do
I
it.
don't think randomization is the right answer because it's just, it's 10%. I just looked at the achievement. I was looking up the achievement on PlayStation. 10% of everybody that plays on PS4, that's the number that have completed the raid on any difficulty.
Wow,
10%.
10%.
So that tells
So-
you very few people have done this. It's
so
not
let's
a
make-
huge
So
number.
let's make it harder.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But that doesn't make any sense that you would randomize that. It's like, okay, I think y'all have the right idea. The normal needs to stay where it's at. The hard should be uber hard. Make it uber hard. Do what you got to do. I don't think they're trying to extend content. I do think they're trying to give the raid what they originally saw.
They want the raid to be harder. I understand. All
Right.
in all, they want it to
But-
be harder because they want it to
Hey,
be the raid.
all they have
But don't
to do
penalize
to make
us for
all,
good game planning.
Right.
You
All
know
they
what I
have
mean?
to do to make their gate raid harder, all they have to do is fix the cheeses. That's it. And they're working
Sure.
on it, but they put baby bumpers for the bosses so you can't cheese them off, and done. It makes it measurably harder.
Oh, I agree.
And I just want to
Yes.
say, just for anybody out there that thinks that we're trying to save ourselves from more difficult raiding, I don't think this would be an
No.
issue for our core raid team. I think we
No.
could get
No.
through it just fine.
Yeah, I mean, we can all
We
do
have.
every role.
We
all
have gotten through it.
and we've taken other people through it and done different roles ourselves. So
I
yeah,
just
that-
want to keep people playing.
yeah,
I just want to keep. I'm thinking of the size of our community right now, and the average guy that when Advanced Warfare comes out, with when all these other games start coming out in the next 3 months, what the average guy is going to experience is, and if they're frustrated, they're going to go pick up a game that's
Right.
fun.
and they're not going to come back. So
Nope.
And with that said about the community, we want to continue to talk to you guys and and interact with you and help everybody that we can through the raid, and also continue to get your stories. So with that said, let's jump over to stories from the tower.
And now it's time for Stories from the Tower. Stories that come from you, to us, and back to you. Be prepared to laugh at time, or 3, or 2.
All right, everybody. So here we are again with Stories from the Tower. And our first one is titled Road Rage Turns into Mom Rage. And this one is posted by MadMatt247. And it reads, thought this was pretty funny, but let me start by saying I thought she was asleep in the car. This AM, I'm running late, getting our 3-year-old daughter to the preschool. And of course, some person is driving like a moron. Keeps turning on her turn signal and slowing to a stop. And then, of course, not turning. Finally, the person changes lanes, and when I go to pass, they swerve back into the lane and make a right turn. So naturally, some verbal expletives follow suit. Something along the lines of, can you believe this effing guy? Drop off my daughter? But, so drop off my daughter and all is good. Wife just picked her up and went to the grocery store before coming home. She puts our daughter in one of those carts with the little car in the bottom. At some point during shopping, my wife almost runs into this old lady as she comes around the corner of the aisle, and a little voice chimes in, "Can you believe this effing guy? Guess who's buying who flowers today?"
Yeah, no question, man. That is hilarious.
Dude.
I know.
I thought that was outstanding.
Well, my little boy that's 2, he has started telling my wife when she drives him to school every morning, and she just says, she's like, "Come on, go, and so now he goes, "Mom, go, Mom, go," and I'm like, I tell him the other day, I'm at a red light. He's like, "Just go." So
right.
Kids pick up and say that's funny, man. Who is this effing idiot?
Right, right.
Man.
And apparently you're not the only one too loud. Leapfrog says, "Same thing happened to me when my little was a preschool age. I'm waiting at an intersection where there is no signal. The lady has like 3 semi-truck space to turn before a car comes, but she doesn't move. I reel out, 'Drive, B.' Next day, my wife is at the same intersection with her son, and he yells it out when a person didn't turn. Too funny." So apparently this is a major problem.
Yeah. Kids are like sponges, man. They repeat everything.
They're little like voice recorders. You got to be careful what you say. Yeah. It's just fat out.
What else you got, Hambone?
Apparently they're also mimics. Pleased to be easy says that it's hilarious. These little copycats. I flipped off a driver once who didn't yield and made me slam on the brakes. Went to the ball game the next day with a group of friends' kids. Then comes the group picture time. Upon closer examination, I had to zoom in, but my 4-year-old is giving the camera the bird.
Yes,
so apparently it is a repeat thing going on.
That's too funny.
All right, and so our second story is another funny things your kids say. And this one, the first post is posted from Whorehound, and he says, "Let's face it, kids say some random stuff from time to time. Mine have even managed to make me laugh when I'm not supposed to be telling them off on occasion. I thought we could have a good old chuckle and collect some phrases in one big thread." So yeah, there's just a ton of different things posted on here. The first one I'm going to read is from Richard Gozenya, and he says, "My Time out.
Wow, Richard, come on, man.
Richard.
Wow.
His name is Richard Gozenya.
I like it. So go ahead. What does he say?
That's classy. My 2-year-old is getting ready to take a bath after he strips down. Before he looks at me, and he says in a very serious voice, "Daddy, I really like my pee-pee." So, that's a good one. That is definitely a good one.
That is good.
One Edged Yeti says, "My daughter once asked, if the moon goes away, will it still get dark? That was 2 years ago. She's now 16. High hopes."
Oh, wow. That's
not
good.
A 14-year-old thing, but apparently some people still think it is.
That's funny, man.
Another good one there is from Mullet Burden X, and he says, "My son doesn't talk much, but he does do some random stuff. Just today, he had a mouthful of eggs and was walking in front of the TV. He started coughing and blew eggs all over the TV, and he likes to randomly rub his face in my leg hair, which is extremely odd."
What?
So I'm not sure if this guy has a jungle going on down there, but he's rubbing his face in his dad's leg hair. So
man, as I've said before, Kids Say the Darndest Things would be a great show to bring back, man. Cosby, bring it back. Bring it back. So
come on, Bill. We need you.
Well, if you want to continue to share stories, guys, if you have a really good story that you want us to share, or your kid says something absolutely ridiculous, repeating you or just doing it on their own, make sure you send it over to us at feedback.dod@gmail.com. Nolxero, tell us, did we get any good emails this week that we need to make sure we shout to?
We got a couple this week, and we got one that I mentioned during the Bottles Up section. And, he was just kind of critiquing us on the choices we were making about beer. Another thing he did say was that, and I'm sorry, that was from Eric Strunk. He said that, before I forget, during the last night's late session, a story mission on Venus with my buddy, I heard a tiny voice in my headset. It was his 4-year-old daughter, and he had to go AFK because she had woken up and wanted some water. A pretty tame scenario, granted, but it got me thinking about how often dads are pulled out of the game by their kids. Seeing that Destiny isn't a very pause-friendly game, I could see many Guardians having to drop the controller to deal with more important matters on a pretty regular basis. I was wondering if this has happened to you guys or maybe other community members, and what some of the craziest scenarios might have been. And he says in parentheses, Vault of Glass. I think we've all dealt with that a little bit. It hasn't been too crazy. I think, we all kind of just understand. If y'all want to throw anything, I think that's
my
what
famous for this.
Right. Truth, especially if you've played with Truth.
Yeah.
I was just saying that Truth has that same thing.
Now, my daughter's a winner. She always comes up to me when I'm in the middle of something, and she'll go, "Daddy, can you wipe my cookie?" Because she'll go and take herself to the toilet, and then she'll stand there with her pants down, and she'll just stare at me aimlessly.
Could you have waited 5 minutes? I'm almost done with this.
Did you say wipe your cookie?
Wipe her cookie. I can be in the middle of a raid, Athion's breathing down on me. Daddy, can you wipe my cookie?
For me, Dolphus. What exactly is that?
Oh, all right. Come on.
It's the front one, not the back one.
Oh, got it. Sorry. I was confused. I'm not sure.
That's funny.
What is that plane?
It looks like someone's called in an airstrike. But we have...
Dude, are you outside in a tent? Did you live in a tent in the middle of...
He lives on safari.
No, I'm sitting outside because half my family's still asleep.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, Nolxero, any other ones real quick that we need to make sure we give an homage to?
Yeah, we have one from Cameron. He says, "Hey, Cobalt Cam from DoD 360 Charlie here. Let me start by saying I love the show. Keep it up, y'all are hilarious. I wanted to point out that Deej revealed the name of the next raid being Crota's End. This leads me to believe it will be on the moon and hopefully be released in December with the next expansion. I was just wondering what your thoughts were on the subject."
Well, don't we know a little bit about, well, for one instance, I know that they've said that the Mytho class would help us out a lot, which is why me and Nolxero tried to get it this week, but
you can borrow one of mine.
No, shut up.
I'll let you know.
I read that there might be an escape thing on this raid where the sparrows might actually play a part, which is pretty cool to hear. Because right now the sparrows kind of, and I have 3 time breakers, so I'm looking for any reason to use these.
Oh, 3 time breakers.
Well, I think I'm just ready. I'm ready for another one of those experiences. I'm ready to look forward to a week where I can go play multiple raids because, like I've said many times, I think it's our favorite part, a lot of us, and how fun it would be to have another raid we can also play with all 3 of our characters. So I think it's going to be great. Is it Hive? Is that what it was? That's what I was told, right? But he's saying it's on. Okay, right? Okay. So
as long as Zer sells the sword, it will be fine.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Better sell that sword.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely on the moon. I've read a lot about it. It's definitely on the moon, so it'll be there on the moon.
Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, continue to send your feedback. Thanks so much. We love reading your emails. We obviously are having to push time a little bit here because we're just running long today. But we love getting your emails. I know Nolxero loves being able to talk to you guys back and send you back a reply. So thanks so much.
So and don't forget everybody to check the forums every Monday, as I'm going to create a post that we intend to share here on the show. So just be looking out for that. It'll be something different every week.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that you guys can see in the title, say stories for the next podcast or whatever, so that way we can start getting maybe some other stories that way as well. Or as always, you can send them to feedback.dod@gmail.com. Well, as always, guys, thanks so much for listening. We really hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you rate us on iTunes as always. Make sure you visit dadsofdestiny.net. Follow us on Twitter at dadsofdestiny.net. You can follow me, TwoLoudtx. That's TWOLOUDTX. Nolxero is NOLXERO. POPEBEAR is Pope_bear. Hambone is DelRealHambone1. So DAREALHAMBONE1. And what about you, Dolphus? You got a Twitter handle over there in South Africa?
Yeah, it's WebChili at WebChili.
WebChili. That's
Web Chili.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unique. Well, guys, don't forget to wear your pink shader here in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have about a week left. This is the last week for us to make that push. Make sure you guys also check out guardianradio.com for tons of other great podcasts and videos. We love you, Bife, although I hammered on you a little bit. Thanks so much for all the content you put out. Thanks again, and until next time, see you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
And take care, polar bear.
Another time, porcupine.
And so long, King Kong.
Oh, nice. King Kong.
Yeah.
It's because you're black.
Why does it gotta be
King Kong?
King Kong.
Why does it gotta be a monkey?
Why's it got to be a black animal, huh?
Because he was on top. That's why he was on top.
He
Malcolm
was
X. Black people. Africans.
You didn't have two mythoclast.
All things.
Africans. Well, hey, Dolphus is a black and he's African.
Right? No,
Yeah.
we're brothers. We're brothers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.